I always want to teach, and I always have that feeling in my heart, you know, when you want to do something. So when I came from my country, I said, I have to do something, because I knew it, that I have it in my heart. If I have the passion to teach them, to guide them, so I think I am doing something good, you know. It made me feel good when the parents come and they said, oh, Miss Gomez, my child, he know how to read and write, and I feel so good. So that means I am doing my job. I am doing my job.
Oh, good. I like that, Chris. I know that you can do it. Christopher, you can do it. Yes.
I always tell them, you know, I am preparing you for college. Who's ready for college? I actually work for a scholarship for Krista McCullough, and I give a scholarship to them. So for me to tell them that they're going to go to college is so beautiful. And actually, I don't do it for the money that they receive. I do it for them to see how important it is that they have a scholarship there for tomorrow, for the college, to give the guidance for those kids, you know, to be prepared for the future. I'm really excited to work with the kids. And I think that's what made me be little, I'm not saying special, but little different, you know. I feel these kids, believe it or not, like they are my grandkids.
Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, exactly. You're going to go an arm
For me,
away from Mercury.
Teaching is really looking at kids as individuals. Even though you might have 30 kids in a class, sometimes last year, 35, you can still reach every kid as an individual. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes all it takes is noticing something that somebody else hasn't noticed. It's just something to give the kids confidence. If they have that confidence, then they're more likely to learn on their own, to say, hey, I'm good at something, I know I'm good at this, I can be good at another subject, at another activity.
What's wrong with this scale model? Cassandra, it doesn't have the asteroid belt? And what else? Perla, they're too close, exactly.
My fulfillment is having like a connection with the kids. I wouldn't be teaching. I wouldn't be a teacher, plain and simple, if I didn't do what I have to do. And I can't just deliver instruction. That won't get the point across to most of the kids. When they see what they've accomplished, they're really proud. I have kids who come back, who still come back. Just last week, when my students came back from the middle school and said, you know, the way you taught math, I understand everything. Now it's so much more difficult. I wish you could teach me. You could be the one teaching me math in middle school. So that lets me know I've done a good job. So I may not be remunerated with billions of dollars, but it really, like, that's what I teach for.
The birth, Ali? Do you have that already? Yeah. Check. Okay, do you include details? Do you have details? Now, how many of you did that already? Thumbs up.
You have to be passionate about what you do. You have to like what you do for a living. I enjoy coming here. I knew I was going to be a teacher because I love teaching people how to read and get that aha moment that everyone gets. I was 5 when I taught an adult how to read, and I discovered that young that this is what I want to do.
Make sure that your paragraph has a good description. Did you discuss the outline?
I want people to know that I came into teaching to make a difference. I just didn't want to be another teacher. I wanted to be the teacher that people remembered. I wanted to be the teacher that when they grew up and become an adult, they say, I remember Mrs. Arriaga because of something. I want to stand out. I don't want to be, how many teachers do we have? 12, 14, plus the professors. I want to be that teacher that touched someone else's mind, not only the mind, but their soul. That's who I wanted to be. And when I come here every day and I see their faces, I tell them how happy I am to see them. And I really mean it, because that's how I want them to see me, that I'm very happy to come in and be part of their life. And I have former students come to me and visit. They're in college, they have families, and they tell me, I still remember what you said. And it wasn't so much the academics, everything that they learn, but it was the motivational part, the spiritual part, that you can do it, that you have to show the world that you are someone, and it's that part that comes back to me.
You're writing feeling words? I want feeling words. And I want prickly. And I want vocabulary words. And you're writing feeling words. Great. Super. Super. So as you... I've been teaching now for 28 years, and I just love it. I love to see these kids learn. It's what I'm doing this for. My philosophy with teaching is I try to make it as real as possible for the children. I try to make sure that I use every opportunity when there's a teaching moment to take advantage. I've evolved as a teacher. I've changed a lot, and my methods change, my curriculum changes. I learn new things. They really make teaching interesting, and for the kids to make learning fun. Every day is different. I mean, you don't wake up and say, this is my routine, I'm gonna do this today. I mean, anything can happen. And my passion is just take it as it comes and don't sweat the small stuff. Just, you know, do the best you can with what you have and just work with it. I believe in public education. When they say we're gonna have a new school 3 blocks away and the charter schools are coming, we said no. We're gonna write a plan to keep the school public out of the charter's hands. And we did. We wrote the plan, it was accepted, it was approved, and our teachers get to go to the public schools, they don't get displaced. The important thing to communicate to my colleagues is that we're all great teachers. We all do great jobs, we all have the good passion for teaching. We all work as a team, we're all great educators, we're all in it because we love it. I don't do anything that other people at Stanford Avenue don't do. I do the same thing they do.
Name the first stage of the butterfly. Why do you use it?
I teach because I genuinely love children. I think their innocence and their excitement and their acceptance, like in 2nd grade, the teacher is almighty. I can discipline them and be so frustrated, and 30 minutes later, I love you. And to me, that is so fascinating, that the love that they have for me, and just when they see me, they're like, oh, Miss Kim, and I'm like, oh, why? How can they love me so unconditionally? I think that really resonates with me when I have to wake up early and come back and do it over and over again. As much as possible, I want to give my kids the education they would have if they were in a very rich Beverly Hills school. And options is a huge part of it. I want them to know what it's like to have choices and to make decisions based on choices, and not constantly being told, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. Because then I feel like I'm training them for blue-collar jobs. I I just feel like I am one example of so many great teachers out there. I think on the media so far there's been so much negative publicity. I feel like people are not noticing those who stay after hours. I have colleagues here that if their child is coming, a student is coming in tattered shoes, they will go out and they will buy shoes for that kid. None of those stories are televised and publicized, but there are teachers in our school, and I'm sure everywhere, that are doing these kinds of things every single day. And I guess that's why I felt like kind of surprised that I got the award, because so many people do these magnificent things and stories are not always told, but so I just like to represent and say there's so many good ones out there.
I think part of my philosophy, and especially now that I'm in special education, and actually it even goes back to when I was in general ed. First off, the area in which I teach is very low income, single family homes. A lot of students don't even live with a parent. They might live with an aunt and uncle, foster homes. So I think what's important is we have to look beyond the child as a student. And I try to see him as a person. So therefore, besides teaching them the best that I can, I also want to help them with their own personal needs. Because believe it or not, the students in our area, they love and they want someone to talk to. See, and I really take that at heart, because I love to talk to these kids, not even as a parent, just as a person, and they open up with so much information. And it's such a wonderful thing to see that, because they develop trust. And when they can talk to you as a person, you can help them, because they listen so well too. They're very good listeners and very good communicators. And they have so many problems that if I told you some of the things I've heard in talking to students, you would cry. So, to be there for them for that is so important to me. And then everything else really is just added on to it. When I found out that I had won the Apple Award, I was floored. And of course, as a teacher, I never thought about that. Well, how can I be rewarded? My reward comes from the students and seeing them now and in the future. And that's my reward. But I think this is important because, maybe other people that work in areas like me, if it just sparks them a little bit, maybe to do a little extra for a child, whether it's through talking to them, taking them somewhere. And forget the risk. There's no risk. I don't believe in the risks of having something bad happen. There's nothing bad that can ever happen to making a child happy. And that's what you look at. So if this award can get more teachers to do that, then I'm happy. I've won. And the students have won. That's what counts.
Okay, circle the important information, and what do we do with the question? Kia?
You have to read it carefully so you can understanding how the flower is, the vegetables affecting addition or
all of the students that I work with for one reason or another are performing beneath their grade level, and so I feel myself to be more of an interventionist. They come to me to fill in some of the gaps that they're experiencing in reading or math or writing. I am really dedicated to these kids. It's like a 24/7 job, I think, rather than a 6-hour job. They mean a lot to me, and I realize that, especially because these are students that are at risk, their time is very important, and what we do with them is critical. Talk it through and decide how you want to solve the problem. But I want you to solve it 2 different ways. So after you figure out one way, I want you to solve it another way. We're doing a lot of really trying to, dig deeper and drill down and try to figure out, okay, what's causing this problem. And the bulk of my outside reading now, I've really just kind of narrowed my focus to working with struggling readers, and what types of things can I do, what kind of things can I try to improve things for them. That's what's really most important to me. I do love what I do. It's been an honor to have had the opportunity to work with students, and you know, the quote, you know, to teach is to touch someone's life forever. I really believe it. You know, I believe it, and I really feel honored that I've had a chance to work with the wonderful children and the wonderful teachers that I've had over the years in the various schools that I've worked with, but particularly San Antonio, because it has been such a wonderful place to work.
You'll notice that you guys go to Destiny Quest, and if you all put in the word myth, this is a really good place to start, because what you're going to find is not only all the books in the library that have different types of myths and the different selections, but also if you'll notice right here, it'll show you. I love teaching because I think learning is a process of growth, and it doesn't have a particular age or gender or ethnicity. It's learning, and with me, I literally get to watch kids grow, to see a character development, the light bulbs going on, and you can see when a light bulb goes on in a child, and that's a great feeling. And you can't really replace that, because you know that that particular student is now a little bit better equipped to face the world after school. This is the witch's house, and these kids are nibbling on the house. Is she acting in a bad way or a normal way to protect her house? It's very gratifying. I don't think you could do it if you didn't feel good about what you're doing. We know it's not the pay. It's how helping students grow makes you feel. And if you have a great feeling about that, then you can keep doing this. What keeps my energy going is focusing on what the student is interested in. So if a non-reader comes in, I want to find out what he or she is interested in. And if I can find that book that turns them on to reading or just feeds their interest, then they're excited. And the excitement just feeds off of both of us. And you have to be excited in whatever you do. And kids can read excitement. And if they see that you're excited, then they get excited. The whole experience becomes positive. I'm never bored. Every single day there's something different, whether it's a different subject, different students, different questions, different skills. Here, it's always something fresh.
Very good, cut them to the side. Come on, sweepers, push the weeds in. This is my 29th year of teaching, and the students motivate me to keep going. I love the fact that they come to Nobel and they just love the gardens at our school. It's peaceful here. Our kids are bused from all over Los Angeles to come to Nobel, and they love just to walk the grounds, and they know that they're very fortunate to have beautiful gardens because of my horticulture program. It's not all about test scores, it's about kids wanting to come to school to enjoy the environment. And Nobel is one of the best schools, and I believe it's because of the environment, how beautiful it is. I try to be very positive because I'm a reflection for these kids. That is what life's about. And I think that's really vital, that the kids love where they're at and they respect their school, their community. And if every school had a program like this, can you imagine the test scores would go up? Kids would want to be at school. They would want to participate in school activities because it's beautiful. The environment is beautiful. And I chose to teach because I wanted to share that love of plants with kids. I feel honored by the union because I support the union 100%. And to be honored, I don't know if there's ever been a horticulture teacher honored with this award, but I just wish that more teachers were recognized in vocational skills, and I'm really proud of this award. It's way up there because it means a lot that it's from my union, who stands by its teachers for 100%.
So what do you think this is? That is correct. That's the part of the esophagus. Now, do you see the brain? Right here. This is the brain. I decided to become a teacher because I have a humongous passion for the subject that I teach, and I also have a humongous passion for teaching. And when I'm teaching in the classroom, I want to pass that passion that I have for biology to my students. I want them to like it. I want them to think about careers in biology or in science. And it's really interesting to see myself as a leader, as a teacher in the classroom, and also as a learner. That way, I could understand my students better when I am a learner. And that way, the insight I gain from my experience as a learner, I apply to my designing lessons and applying it to my students. I would like you to also take a look at the brain. In order to look at the brain, you need to look at the frog from a dorsal side. I am an artist and I also teach science. I'm really happy because both of these passions are applicable in my profession. If anybody is pursuing a career in teaching, they must really love it, because that love, that feeling induces you to invest more and more every day. We have to keep up with the current research. We have to bring the research to the classroom. And just the fact that a teacher is an artist, also a scientist, is what makes me every day to get up and tell to myself that I have the coolest job in the world.
There's another expression here that I want to include from the song, which is winds of change. All right? So we've been experiencing a lot of winds of change this year in our school district. And I love teaching adult ed. And you know, the students are here because they want to be here. For example, here in the evening, most of the students come from directly after their jobs. We have a lot of students who work in factories in this neighborhood, and after a long day of working, they'll come here because they want to learn English, they want to improve their lives, they want a better future. And so adult education is really important to our communities, and you can see the dedication that the students have, and that's something that excites me and motivates me to want to do my best as a teacher.
Don't be shy, guys. You can do it.
My philosophy about teaching is that we're all learners, and we all are in different places, and we're all interested in different things. And I think that what we have to do is we have to reach our students and find out what they're passionate about, what they're interested in, and then bring the learning experience through those different topics of particular interest to the students. I think it's important to recognize how important public education is and how the attacks on teachers really are about attacks on organized labor and our attacks on public education. So we teach the 99%, and we need to keep fighting.